continuous heavy rainfall over several days has caused a catastrophic flash flood in Shaanxi province, China, creating torrents of muddy water that rushed through towns, cities, and agricultural land. Streets turned into raging rivers, mountainsides collapsed, and normal life was suddenly disrupted on a massive scale. In the city center of Yan'an, the first wave submerged entire residential areas. Waist-deep water flooded the streets, carrying away shops, gardens, and courtyards. Residents tried to scoop water out with buckets, while improvised rafts and small boats became the only means of reaching higher ground. Families gathered on rooftops, anxiously waiting for rescue. In Wookie County, rescue teams worked tirelessly to clear debris and redirect floodwaters away from hospitals, schools, and administrative buildings. Sandbags were stacked high to protect entrances. In the county square, the national flagpole stood amidst a growing lake of water, the flag drenched, lowered, and caught by the wet wind. The province's transportation system was paralyzed. Bridges cracked under the pressure of the floodwaters, with some collapsing entirely. Rural roads were submerged beneath waves of brown water. In Gangxian County, a key section of highway collapsed, with chunks of concrete breaking off and falling into the valley below. Many relief teams had to stop or turn back as they couldn't pass flooded roads. Power and water supplies were cut off in many towns. Power lines sagged and then went completely dead. Many households lost access to clean water and had to rely on emergency food aid. Repair teams worked around the clock, but the unstable ground conditions made every repair effort difficult and risky. In underground shopping malls and subway systems in areas like Bagi and Shenyang, water quickly flooded and submerged everything. Escalators stopped midway as water poured into stairwells. Shoppers rushed to find exits as lights flickered and then went out. Underground parking lots were filled with water, burying dozens of cars and trucks under murky water. Agriculture suffered heavy losses. Fields that were once covered with lush trees were now buried beneath layers of mud and stagnant water. Corn and wheat fields were crushed under the weight of the floodwaters. Farmers dug temporary ditches to drain the water, but most crops were lost. Livestock, goats, and poultry had to swim through water up to their knees as the barns filled with water. Irrigation systems were destroyed in many areas, raising concerns about long-term damage to food production. Large numbers of rescue teams were deployed. Excavators cleared blocked roads, while soldiers brought bottled water to stranded households. Schools, churches, and community centers became emergency shelters. Volunteers distributed dry clothes, flashlights, and hot meals to families who had lost everything. Local authorities continued issuing emergency warnings. Loudspeakers announced the ongoing flood risks. Officials emphasized that the land remained wet and unstable. Many areas were still at risk of further landslides. Rivers were still at dangerous water levels. Remote mountain villages remained completely isolated, with roads blocked by landslides, accessible only by helicopter. Some residents refused to evacuate, choosing to stay behind to protect their homes and livestock. Relief organizations warned that standing water could lead to disease outbreaks. For Shaanxi, this flood had become a challenge beyond just a natural disaster. It was a test of perseverance, cooperation, and determination to rebuild. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with others. Let's raise awareness of what's happening in China. Leave a comment below. What do you think should be done to prevent such disasters in the future? Subscribe to receive more real-time reports about China, the environment, and global crises. Together, we keep informed. Together, we stay prepared. Stay safe, everyone.
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch, subscribe, learn and prepare. Because awareness isn't fear, it's power.
Tiếng cái này là cái chúng là chuyên bố trong mấy tay này nào.
大家想看的七孔来了，七孔今天晚上10点4到6孔也开始放了，大家看中间5个孔已经连起来了哦，最后2个孔能不能放呢？我们期待。
On September 14th, 2025, continuous heavy rainfall over several days caused a catastrophic flood in Beijing, China, turning busy streets into raging rivers and forcing many neighborhoods to struggle with the destructive aftermath. From the bustling avenues of the capital to the remote mountain villages on the outskirts, the damage was widespread and severe. Roads were among the first to be affected. Asphalt cracked under the relentless force of water, and intersections disappeared beneath rushing currents. Many bridges could not withstand the pressure and collapsed, while smaller roads leading to hills or peripheral areas were washed away or buried under rocks and debris. For several days, transportation across the city was almost completely paralyzed. Public services also faced major difficulties. Bus routes were suspended, and rail services were delayed or canceled as tracks became flooded. Suburban trains connecting outer districts were particularly hard hit, leaving thousands of residents without reliable transportation. This situation revealed how vulnerable the city's transport system is to sudden extreme weather events. Utility systems were heavily strained as well. Power lines sagged, and transformers failed after floodwaters reached substations. Entire neighborhoods endured simultaneous outages of electricity and communications. In some rural townships, residents went days without phone service, while technicians struggled to access roads blocked by water. Water management systems reached their limits. Reservoirs swelled from runoff, rising to levels not seen since they were first built. To protect their structural integrity, operators released water, which in turn raised downstream river levels and pushed flooding into low-lying areas. Emergency engineers worked tirelessly to monitor spillways and prevent overtopping. Commercial centers suffered significant losses. Shops and restaurants on street level were inundated, with goods and food destroyed by water and mud. Pumps ran continuously to remove water from basements, but in many areas, water remained long enough to cause lasting structural damage. Business owners reported damaged machinery, ruined stock, and weeks of lost revenue. Agricultural areas on the city's outskirts were also heavily affected. Vegetable and grain fields were submerged, while orchards sat in standing water, threatening entire harvests. Terraced farmland on steep hillsides collapsed, sending soil into rivers and cutting off farmers from their land. Repairs to irrigation channels and access roads will take months, if not longer. The mountainous districts surrounding Beijing faced an additional threat. Landslides. Saturated slopes gave way, sending torrents of mud and rocks across rural roads. Debris flows blocked rivers and raised water levels further, forcing crews to conduct emergency clearance to restore flow. Villages near steep terrain remain on high alert. The economic impact was already enormous. Repairing damaged highways, restoring utilities, and reinforcing weakened riverbanks will require billions of yuan. Beyond the direct destruction, the flood disrupted commerce across the capital. Factories paused operations, delivery trucks were rerouted, and urban construction projects stalled, compounding the losses. Authorities launched a large-scale recovery effort. Teams pumped water from underpasses, built temporary roads, and reinstalled power lines in the worst-hit neighborhoods. Sandbags, portable pumps, and temporary barriers were deployed to hold back new surges while engineers drafted plans for permanent reinforcement. Despite progress, the scale of destruction means recovery will stretch over months. Many businesses and households are still awaiting repairs, and some roads remain impassable. Government agencies have pledged financial support, while city planners are pushing for accelerated reconstruction to restore normal life as quickly as possible. Thank you for watching Severe Weather, where we break down the facts behind nature's most intense moments. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel running. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. Note that some footage in this video may be used for illustration and may not reflect the exact event described. See you in the next video. Stay informed and stay safe.
过来啊，这儿啊。
给你看人家滑一级的卡。
这次严重哦。
哦，hòn một, nè bóng, chuyền bú à? Tiếng cái này là cái chúng ta là chuyền bú trong mấy tới đây nào.
啊，大家想看的七孔来了，七孔，今天晚上10点，4到6孔也开始放了。大家看中间5个孔已经连起来了哦，最后2个孔能不能放呢？我们期待。
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare, because awareness isn't fear, it's power.